Once a Knick, always a Knick. And Marcus Morris, you are a Knick yet again. Marcus Morris is signing an Exhibit 9 deal with the New York Knicks, as you're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and I am your host, Marshall Green. We're going to break this down. What does this mean for the other players on this roster? And what the heck is an Exhibit 9 deal? I've got all the answers to all your questions. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Because when the Knicks make a move, we have you covered. When the Knicks make a move, we make a video. We put out free, informative, entertaining updates every day on your New York Knicks. And if you're a Giants fan and you're a Jets fan, the NFL's over. It's Knicks time. Hit that sub button and lock us in. Alrighty, Marcus Morris is signing a Exhibit 9 deal with the New York Knicks, which is essentially a training camp deal, meaning he is going to go to training camp with the New York Knicks and going to have to fight to make this roster. It also puts the Knicks in a spot to where if he gets hurt, they don't have to pay out his entire contract. At least that is how I understood it when I looked up what an Exhibit 9 deal is. The 6'8", 35-year-old last year, he spent time with Cleveland. He also, a couple years ago, spent some time with the Los Angeles Clippers as well as the Philadelphia 76ers, but 6.4 points per game last year. I thought Marcus Morris was a guy that honestly the Knicks should have tried to target last year when Julius Randle ended up getting hurt. Played in 49 games last year, 6.4 points per game, 2.7 rebounds, and he shot 40.3% from three. One thing about Marcus Morris is, and as we know when he is a Knick, he can get hot from downtown. And he is a rhythm-based player. When he is feeling it, when he is in the zone, he can light you up. I can't believe that, what was it, 4 years ago at this point, the dude averaged 19 points per game for the New York Knicks. And while I don't think he is still that same player, I do think there is still some gas left in the tank. And a guy that's bounced around the NBA, he gets to go to a team that's trying to compete to add a championship banner to the rafters at their home stadium. It might, I think, maybe fuel them up a little bit. Give them something to play for. I mean, last year, they lost, obviously, the Cleveland Cavaliers did to the Boston Celtics. But man, my man Marcus Morris, he got busy against the Celtics in that Game 5. He had 25 points, and that was without Donovan Mitchell. He was the guy that they looked to go score, and he can still do that at a high level. I'm not going to give you 25 points any single night, but if Randle needs a night off or there's an injury in the front court, throw Marcus Morris out there for 10 to 15 minutes, and he can get you some buckets and hit some open threes off the catch. What is your one-word reaction to the Knicks signing Marcus Morris? Once a Knick, always a Knick, baby, and I'm glad he's back. He continues to give to the New York Knicks. He signed with the Knicks, balled out. Knicks traded him for Emmanuel quickly, and then that turned into OG Anunoby. Full circle right there. Your one-word reaction to the New York Knicks signing Marcus Morris. My one-word reaction is dog. Toughness. Not a fake tough guy. Because a lot of people think. People think the Morris twins out of Philly are fake tough guys, and I feel like sometimes the Knicks can feel like a little bit of a select basketball team. They can kind of feel like a private school basketball team every once in a while. Marcus Morris, he's going to bring some dog, some physicality, some toughness to this team. Somebody gets in the face of Jalen Brunson, send Marcus Morris out there. Someone wants to get chippy with Dante DiVincenzo, stick the bully Marcus Morris out there. And on top of that, besides that, he can still play a little bit. The guy can still put the ball in the basket. His catch and shoot three-point percentage by the year. Last year, 43%. The year before that, 36.6% and 37.6% from three. He can space the floor, and he is still a reliable scorer in this league. I really thought the Knicks should have re-signed Marcus Morris last year when they got official word that Julius Randle was going to be out, adding another guy that's 6'8", 6'9". Not going to give you a Julius Randle can. Obviously, he's not on Randle's caliber anymore, but he is someone that you could throw out there and look to score points in the flow of your offense. I thought they should have made that move, but how could we ever forget how good he was for the Knicks? Only played 43 games with him, but in that little small sample size, he was getting buckets, man. The face-up mid-range, the jab step, doinking the ball off the head of defenders, getting technicals every night. That was some swag. That made New York Knicks basketball fun during that trying time. Dude averaged 20 freaking points per game, shot 43.9% from the field and 43.9% from three. The dude was elite. Unfortunately, not that guy, but the Knicks are going to get a solid player if he does end up making this roster. Reason I say if he does is because Landry Shamet, who we did a video on the other day, who signed a Exhibit 9 deal with the Knicks, and now Marcus Morris signing an Exhibit 9 deal for the Knicks, they are going to battle it out for that 15th roster spot. Maybe both make them, and someone you're not thinking about could be cut. I'll tell you who that is in a second. But first, I got to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. If you like playing daily fantasy sports, do it with Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the promo code CLNS and get $50 when you play a $5 lineup. All you do is create a lineup of 2 to 6 players, and you simply pick more or less on their projected stat line. The lineup that I'm rolling with is this. They're doing a special for half a passing yard for Caleb Williams. Take the more on that, pair it with one more thing. We'll take the less on Saquon Barkley rushing yards. I mean, I don't got anything against Saquon Barkley, right? But I don't think he's going to have that good of a game. Or maybe I'm hoping he doesn't. Roll with my picks, fade my picks, make your picks at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. Play a $5 lineup. They'll give you 50 bones for free. Get hooked up with them. prizepicks.com/CLNS. Promo code CLNS. So when you talk about what are Exhibit 9 deals, they're pretty much training camp invites to players with a little bit of an injury guarantee to protect the Knicks long term. And they're going to fight and duke it out to make this roster. Because the Knicks roster right now is not just loaded with talent, it's loaded with names. And they are almost at max capacity. You know, Brunson, Bridges, Anunoby, Randall, and Robinson are all going to make this team, and that is most likely going to be your starting 5. Guys that are also locked into this team: Tyler Kolek, Cam Payne, Dante DiVincenzo, Miles McBride, Josh Hart, Pacome Dadier, Precious Achiuwa, and Jericho Sims. Remember, the Knicks, they added Keita Bates-Diop in that deal for Mikal Bridges, and I think you have to ask the question, is it a lock that Keita Bates-Diop ends up making this team? I don't think it is, especially with the additions of Chuma Okeke as well as Marcus Morris. Keita Bates-Diop, look, he's not that skilled of an offensive player, but he is a Tom Thibodeau player through and through. All grit, all grind, all the time. Versatile defender, long, lengthy wing, and he's shown before that he can hit the three-point shot. But he only did it for 1 year in San Antonio. I would say it's more of an outlier than anything else, 39% in 2023. But outside of that, he's a 31% guy from 3. Another guy that could be on the chopping block and in contention with Morris, Shamet, and Keita Bates-Diop to make the roster is Chuma Okeke, the 6'6", 6'7" defensive forward who came over from the Orlando Magic. Like Bates-Diop, he's going to give you energy, he's going to give you effort, and he's going to try his absolute hardest, and you can always respect that out of a player. He just kind of lacks offensive skill like Keita Bates-Diop. More of a cutter and a guy that can get to the basket off the ball, but not really someone that's ever shown the ability to be a knockdown shooter in this league. I love a competitive training camp, man. I think last year the New York Knicks got a little too belly full. We had an end of the roster guys being Daquan Jeffries and a lot of Mamadou Diakite. Not this year. The Knicks added legit NBA talent. They learned from that because you got to a spot where you were having a look at Mamadou Diakite. You were having a look at guys on the end of your bench, Daquan Jeffries, to come in the game and play. Knicks aren't doing that this year, and I love that. Let the G League players play in the G League. Let's get NBA players and NBA talent to fill the back end of the roster. I love that. They also got to go out and still make another move for a center. There's no doubt about that. I believe in a healthy Mitchell Robinson. I believe in a healthy Achiuwa, and I like Jericho Sims as a third-string center, but I don't believe that Mitchell Robinson can be healthy, and there's a difference in that. If he can, awesome. I think the Knicks will be fine, but he's played more than 59 games one time in the last 4 years. The Knicks still do have, to my knowledge, that taxpayer mid-level exception, which could pay a player $5.2 million. I'd go out and give somebody that money. Not for the simple fact that Knicks need that player, so they could pair that $5.2 million with the $6 million of Precious Achiuwa and form a formidable trade package to go get someone at the NBA trade deadline. Because Robinson, Achiuwa, and Sims, I just don't think you have enough there when you factor in the injuries. Everywhere else, though, you are stacked. Brunson, Kolek, Payne, Bridges, DiVincenzo, McBride, Landry Shamet, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, Julius Randle. You could put Hart at the 4. You could put OG at the 4. And then Robinson, Achiuwa, and Sims. And the guy on the two-way deals, Jacob Toppin, Kevin McCullough, and Ariel Huck-Porty. Grade the Knicks roster for me down in the chat. We're doing an NBA 2K style. 1 to 100. 1 is the lowest. 100 is the highest. Grade it for me, and make sure you are following me on social media. The first place you would have heard about Marcus Morris putting pen to paper to return to the Knicks was on my Twitter. So give me a follow here, give me a follow here, and let's go Knicks.